Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited. Today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for a Hardtack 2.0. If you're a prepper, you'll probably be aware of what the Hardtack is. It is pretty much indestructible bread, but unfortunately, apart from a couple hundred calories, it has very little going for it. Yes, people relied on a Hardtack those days, in fact for many centuries, because it is indestructible and it lasts for a very, very long time. But those days, the guys didn't have an access to all of the ingredients that we have now. So knowing me, I want you to create a bigger and better Hardtack. It will still last you a very, very long time, but we have so much more going for it. That's giving you much more nutritional value. So without further ado, let's proceed with the recipe. So guys, for the recipe, we will require 250 grams of wholemeal flour, 100 grams of oat flour, 30 grams of chia seeds, 30 grams of coconut oil or ghee. We'll require a tablespoon of baking powder, tablespoon of salt, 30 grams of dehydrated or powdered eggs, 30 grams of skimmed milk powder, and 30 grams of flax seed, and approximately 180 milliliters of water. Just to make you aware that all of those ingredients have been carefully considered for what they've got to offer to make our Hardtack fortified, and of course at the same time to make sure that our Hardtack can last for a very, very long time. So without further ado, let's get mixing. So I've got our flour. Let's mix the dry ingredients first. Oat flour. Right. We've got our chia seeds. Let's go with the flax seed. It's a crushed flax seed. Milk powder. Dehydrated eggs. Or freeze-dried eggs if you got them. Salt. And baking powder. Right, so let's give it all a mix. Okay, so ingredients are well mixed together. So now I'm gonna carefully add on our coconut oil. Right, and just trying to incorporate it together as much as you can. We're gonna be kneading the dough after anyway, so a little bit. Right. Okay, and now let's add on water. Just add on half and then wait a bit, okay? We don't want the dough to be too wet because we want it to be workable and dense. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, and finish off the water. Okay, so, right, it's pretty much ready. It's got to be a rough mix anyway. Right, so if you feel you need to add on a little bit of water, go ahead, but generally you should be a-okay. So now, right, let me clear that, and we're going to be rolling this dough out. Okay, so I've got myself a sheet here with some flour. So now, let's get this out. Okay, and we're just going to work this dough a little bit, okay? Just want to make sure that the coconut fat is all melted because obviously you want through your hands. So after you kneaded this for a while, okay, you will see that it starts to combine a bit better together. So now, okay, we're going to make approximately, well, it makes approximately 9 pieces of Hardtack. And each piece of Hardtack will yield you approximately 250 to 300 calories, which is really, really good. So now let's just try to make it into a square shape. And let's now roll this out to approximately ½ inch. Okay, so it's all now rolled out. You can use a little pastry thing to make it a bit square, just to make it a bit easier to cut it up. Okay, it is pretty much as square as I'm going to get it. Right, so now we need to get 9 pieces out of that. So roughly mark it up. I want to get... Okay, and now let's go ahead and cut it. Don't worry too much if they don't come out perfect. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so there we are. We have our pieces, right? So look at that. See, very good. So now let me quickly grab a tray. So I've got my tray here. So now let's transfer the hardtack into a tray. I've got the non-stick silicone tray underneath. Put them in here. Okay, so right, they're now in the tray. So what we've got to do now, take a fork, okay, and make holes. Okay, just poke them pretty much like you see in the crackers. That will stop them puffing up when they're cooking. See, old days they used to do this, okay, to stop them puffing up, because the way they stored them, they were worried that when the biscuits puff up, it's got a lot of sort of space there for bugs to crawl in and occupy your bread. We don't have to worry about this nowadays because we know as a preppers we can store this in like Milo bags or airtight containers, but nonetheless it will just make it more aesthetically pleasing as well. So now it's all done. Okay, so now let's put this in the oven at 120 degrees Celsius for 3 to 4 hours until totally dry. So guys, here we are. Our hardtack is now ready, pretty much. All right, it sounds very hollow. So now put this back in the oven. Okay, the oven is off, but it's still warm. Put them in there and just let them totally dry out overnight and cool down. In the morning, pick up a airtight container, put them in there and leave them on a counter for a few days. If you start seeing the condensation appears, that means that those guys are not dry. You have to take them out and put them back in the oven for about an hour. Make sure they're totally dry out. If you have to do this again, I strongly suggest you put them back in the airtight container after and keep an eye on them again. Make sure no condensation appears. After a week, if there's no condensation appeared, then you're good to go. So Milo bag them with oxygen absorber and you're good to go. I got to say all the ingredients have been carefully considered to give us the nutritional value. So we're having the fats, we're having the minerals, we're having the carbs, and we're having the vitamins as well. So that should be shelf stable, providing you dry them up properly for the good 10 to 15 years. I appreciate the general hardtack could sit there for literally forever, but we do have other ingredients here. And to be fair, as many preppers, I don't think many of us preparing or able to prepare for like 30, 40 years ahead. It just frankly makes no point. So to me, 10, 15 years is a good benchmark to have those guys in the Milo bags. So there we are. I hope you have found this video helpful, have enjoyed the recipe, my Hardtack 2.0. Please don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It really helps the channel. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye.